Hello and welcome to this edition of the Halcyon Show. My name is Lon Rising. I'm going to be a host of this episode, and on this episode we're going to get our skates on. I haven't reviewed any games for months now, and I need to catch up. So, what better than to start with a game that I should have already done a review for, because I've already written it, produced it, gotten all the assets and played most of it, but forgot all of that information when I came to record this because reasons. We're going to be talking about Road Racers, a top-down racing game. A bunch of fun, tons of content, and really good value for money. And as it turns out, at the time of this recording, it's 50% off. So hopefully I can get this review out that it kind of makes sense from a marketing perspective for the poor guys over there that gave me the game, and I still haven't gotten around to doing a review for it. Nonetheless, why should you play this game? A couple of reasons. The simplicity of the gameplay is pretty good. Simplistic controls, only one button to action. You don't have to worry about the accelerator or reverse in this game. It's a perpetual motion forwards on a single track. As you progress through the campaign modes, you unlock different aspects of the racing. So initially you'll have a number of different modes that range from beating each other up and smashing each other, which is a mechanic of the game to be able to swing melee attacks left and right. The melees have different boosts and buffs to them, and you can unlock them and purchase them as you win races as you go through the game. You also have timed races against other opponents where if you finish in last place, you're eliminated from the race, or you have to finish ahead of another racer. Bunch of different modes like that. As you progress through the game, you unlock other avenues of the racing, so you might have police that interfere with the racing as well. You also have to take down other larger vehicles that can sustain a tremendous amount of damage. What I would say about this game is like I said, the depth of quality in this game is really, really to be admired. Tons of unlockable races. I think there's 12 in the initial segment and then 15 as you go, or 15 in the original segment, 12 as you go. So there's tons to keep you busy. There's also a free practice mode where you can unlock and basically earn money to be able to purchase other aspects of the game. So for instance, there's a randomizer so that you can practice various modes, and the harder the difficulty is, the more money that you win, which is also a mechanic in the main campaign mode where you can basically bet to make sure that you've got an opportunity to win as much money as possible in the race segment. And this is crucial because in the campaign mode you can replace sections to earn money to be able to buy better bikes, better equipment. The customizable nature of this game is also worth a nod because as you progress you can unlock certain bikes, but the bikes that you buy are always going to have the statistical edge over your opponents and also over the bikes that you unlock. There's also a certain customizable aspect to this in that the riders can be unlocked. I don't know if they have a discernible difference to the gameplay. I haven't noticed anything, but it's still a nice touch that you can pick a rider if you want to. My overall impressions of this game are simple. The graphics are well done. I like the little nods in the maps as well, like as you're passing through, spectators will be cheering and crossing the road, presenting hazards, which if you bump into, either just slow you down or cause you significant damage. You have life bars. That's an interesting element to the racing because it's not just a question of managing to the end of the race, you've also got to manage your health just generally, otherwise you run the risk of getting your ass kicked. You also have, again, the graphics, coming back to those for a second, just nice little tidbits as you go in the race. It's just nice to see so much depth put into these games. The one that always stands out to me is the announcers standing alone. As you race past, the sound gets louder and louder, and as you pass it goes lower, lower, lower. It's a nice little touch and one that you might not have noticed in a lesser game, but is prevalent here. It's cool. The overall design work is good. It's a very cartoony style, so you'll be right at home straight away if you're into that sort of style like I am. And just generally, it's a fun racing game. As far as the mechanics of the game, I struggled with it initially because I felt that the controls were a bit too heavy and the AI could be punishing at times. However, once you get used to it, and more importantly, once you unlock the better bikes and the better equipment, the game becomes easier and easier as you go, especially once you've had a couple of knacks at the race and you start to get an idea of where you're going to need to plan your attack. The bonuses, for instance, the power-ups I should say, the nitrous, the shield and the oil slick. I wouldn't bother with the oil slick. I found that when I was playing the game, dropping the oil slick didn't really do much because most competitors can just dodge that really, really easily. The most effective obviously is the nitrous, especially in the one-to-one races where all you need to do is just stay in touching distance. The AI never really seems to suspect this tactic of you just sitting behind them, not taking any damage, and then right at the end, boosting past them. The same can be said for the last of 7 races. You can usually circumnavigate a lot of the damage that you can suffer initially with people bumping into things. It's worth pointing out that the weapons in the game seem to be inconsistent in terms of their power. The reason I say this is because initially that bat doesn't do much damage at all, and it takes forever to earn enough money to be able to buy like a pipe or a slightly better weapon like the mallet, because you're trying to save all your money for the better bikes to be able to keep yourself competitive in those races. But once you unlock the mallet and you can swing it as often as you can and it does significant damage, the game becomes a lot easier. Who would I recommend this to? Well, the kind of person that enjoys Mario games is probably going to like this kind of game because of that back and forth racing style, albeit that there is the added element that you have to be mindful of your life. That's a critical element of this game that Mario sometimes lacks, apart from, you know, falling off the maps, which isn't possible in this game. If you hit the side, you just sustain damage, so you get good at zigzagging and crisscrossing. Where the most fun is found in this game is in the specific modes. I personally loved the last of 7 modes because I found it exhilarating racing in and out of traffic and the police and other races, eliminating them as I went, trying to just keep in touch and distance of that first guy while not taking over, because of course once you take over it's blue shell territory, basically you're just everyone's target, then boosting to the finishing line with the nitrous. Shields can be useful from time to time, I suppose, especially on the 2-on-1 battles where you have to take on 2 guys at the same time, and basically the element of the game is just to take those 2 guys out. The pizza delivery mode, Again, the incentive there would be to have a decelerator to kind of moderate that, but because you don't have a deceleration mode, you have to time your attacks. It can be a little bit frustrating at times, but ultimately it's another fun mode. Overall, this game's a bag of content, great production value, is a fun racing game, probably my favourite racing game of this year, just in terms of how much fun I had and how much repetition there was and how little I cared about that fact. The overall production quality, again, is very low. There are very few glitches, bugs. The menus are absolutely fantastic for those among you who love your menus. And of course, the value of the game is really good. I think it's only $1.99. Typically, it's down to 99 cents as the recording of this video. It won't always be that way, I must stress that point. But it represents immense value for money. Not only that, the guys at the studio are absolutely fantastic guys. Took the time. Turns out they're Arsenal fans and wrestling fans, so I got nothing but time for those guys. So I appreciate them giving me the review code and taking the time to answer my questions, which I will publish in a more exuberant and long-standing review in a bunch of other games once I get the chance to do so. But I really needed to crank out this review as quickly as possible, hence why I've got a million words a minute. So, Road Racers. What do you think? Have you played the game? If so, comment, leave me what your thoughts are in the description below. Also, go check out the game if you haven't already done so. Again, it's on sale now, and I would heartily recommend it. It's a good little racing game, well put together, a ton of fun with a multiplayer aspect that's just been added in, and will undoubtedly provide you with hours of entertainment like it did me. What are some of your other favourite racing games as well? Again, I mentioned Mario Kart as a direct comparison to this. It's not a like for like, I will say that, but nevertheless, I enjoyed Mario Kart a ton, just like I've enjoyed playing this game. So leave me what some of your favourite racing games are, especially kind of co-op racing games in the description below. In the meantime though, thank you very much for watching this very hurriedly put together episode of the Halcyon Show. I've missed you all. It's lovely to be back, and I will hopefully see you checking out some of the other videos in the description below, the ones that I've put up not recently because it's not been recent. Also checking out some of the other content creators in the description below. I hope you're following me on Twitter, and as always, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next episode of the Halcyon Show.